Hello everyone, I'm Stacy Ellis. Welcome to my channel. Those of you who are new to my channel, I show a lot of booktube videos. I also do some inspirational videos regarding the Christian faith and just other videos in general about nutrition and life in general. So if that sounds like something that you are interested in, please hit the subscribe button. I will definitely be talking about things that you probably won't hear on other channels regarding things about the Christian faith, or even my stance on some of these books that I read. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, make sure you subscribe and check out some of the other videos that I have already posted. You will be surprised with some of the content that I have. But today, we're at the end of November, and typically at the end of each month, you do a wrap up of all the books that you read for that month. And I will be honest with you guys, I completed 0 books this month. 0. And do I feel bad about it? I actually do not feel bad about me not finishing up any books. And let me explain why. I feel that in the booktube world, there is this pressure put on booktubers to try to read as many books as possible in order to reach a certain goal for their booktube channel. People are reading so many books, so many pages that they normally wouldn't read, just for the algorithm, just for subscribers, just for the engagement with other people. And quite frankly, I feel that some people are actually stressed trying to get through all these books. I love to read, but that is not the only thing that I love to do. That is just one of the things that I enjoy doing. And I refuse to put myself in a situation where I'm stressing myself out in order to reach a certain level of status in the YouTube world. It's not worth it. The likelihood of me actually making money on YouTube is quite low, and I am perfectly fine with that because this ain't my full-time job. So I'm perfectly okay with that. So I read not for you guys. I read for myself. I read for myself and for my enjoyment. And quite frankly, I have a lot of books that I have started this month, but I wasn't going to rush myself to get done just to say that I finished it in the in the month of November. I have no interest in doing that. Now, some of you guys stress yourself out and you try to do that. You tell yourself, well, I say that I am going to read X, Y, and Z for the month of November, so I got to complete X, Y, and Z before the end of November. And then you stress yourself out trying to reach your goals. I think hobbies should not be stressful. I think hobbies are meant to bring joy in your life, bring fulfillment, and not to stress you out. And so, yeah, I don't have any book reviews to share with you today. But I do want to come on here and share things that I did instead of reading to bring me joy this month. Because like I said, reading, though it brings me joy, it's not the only thing that I do on my spare time. So for starters, one of the things that I decided to do this month was I started coloring again. I bought some, mechanical coloring pencils. And I have a bunch of coloring books, but I haven't been coloring because it's such a pain with like the regular color pencils to sharpen it. And so I got the mechanical ones, and it's been so much fun coloring now. And so, that's something that I started doing again this month, is coloring. I also started cooking a lot again. So I take time during the semester. I might have more time on certain days than others where I can cook. In this semester, those of you who watched my previous videos, you know that it's been a very stressful semester. I've been doing research in another city that's 2.5 hours away. And as you can imagine, my stress level was really high this semester. And so I actually didn't get a chance to do a lot of cooking, but this month I started to cook more again. And so I enjoy cooking. I was very happy that I had the opportunity to do so. Also, I love to dance. I do ballet. And this semester, like I said, I've been busy, so I haven't been able to go to ballet as much as I have in the past. But this semester, now that it's towards the end, I have been going to dance class more frequently. So I definitely have enjoyed that. I've been able to spend time with family members, this past month. It was the holidays. We had Thanksgiving this past week. So it's not that I've been procrastinating. It's not that I haven't read. I read every single day. I read in the morning and I read in the evening. I just did not make it a priority to try to get through a lot of books this month. And so I'm just here to tell you guys that it's okay that you don't meet your reading goals. It's okay. Reading is for enjoyment. It's not to be a task. It shouldn't stress you out. If you're not enjoying it, then why are you even doing it? Now, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and share with you what I'm reading. I never really just do one of these videos where I share what I'm reading. I did tell, I think it was the last video. I don't remember. I do like to do audiobooks. So I do physical copy books and I do audiobooks. And I recently discovered this app called Scribd. So I'll show you on my phone what it looks like. It's like this little S symbol here, and it's spelled Scribd. And it is pretty much like Netflix for audiobooks and regular books. So you're able to read ebooks and they have audiobooks. Now I have the Libby app. Libby is a similar app where you can check out books from your library. You can check out audiobooks. And there's I don't think there's a limit to how many you can check out. There probably is, but I never hit that. But Scribd is actually better because Scribd has more options and more variety, especially in the Christian genre. I find on Libby, there's a limit on the types of books that are offered in the Christian fiction and nonfiction genres. They typically stick to like the very, very popular Christian books. And quite frankly, the books that I'm interested in are not the books that are as popular. I like deep theological books and not, so to speak, the basic books. And then in terms of the fiction Christian books, Libby tends to have a lot of romance, Christian romance, and I'm not into romance. And so it was great to find this app. And it's only been a few days and I have so many books that I'm now listening to on this app, which is great. And I really, really do enjoy it. So with that, I am going to share with you some of the books that I am listening to in audiobook version. And I'm going to share with you the books that I am currently reading right now. So let's go ahead and get started with the audiobooks. Now, you know how I am. I am not a person that edits my videos because I don't have time for that. One day I will, but today is not the day. It is not the day today. I am sorry. So the first one, the first book, and I'm sorry, it is actually kind of blurry. It is Restoring the Foundation of Civilization by Gary DeMar. I actually just started this book today, and he discusses God's government or chaos. So it's quite interesting. I was just in the first chapter, the introduction and the first chapter, and I'm already very intrigued. He talks about different civilizations and how different civilizations have evolved within the earth, and how Christianity gets under persecution. And he actually discusses how in America, Christianity is having those first phases of persecution. You look at other countries such as China, for instance, where literally millions of people were persecuted for their Christian faith. We don't really talk about that. We like to talk about the Holocaust. We like to talk about, Stalin and, all those other things. But really the number one killer was the Chinese. I'm sorry. It wasn't the Holocaust. More Christians were killed than the Jews during the Holocaust. And this is fairly recent. Fairly recent. And so, yeah, it's interesting. I just started it. He has a lot of other books, but this one was available on Scribd for audiobook version. So that's why I picked it. The other book that I am listening to, which I actually don't know if I'm going to finish it, Ragamuffin Gospel. I started listening to it, but I stopped. I might pick it back up. It's on my currently reading right now. I was just getting bored, if I'm being honest with it. And that's in part because I was driving. It might change. The next book that again, audiobook version, I am getting a paper copy of this, is the Tony Evans Kingdom Marriage book. We're going through this in our small groups. And so that's why I'm going through it. So I'm going to it's going to take me some time to get through this because we're only doing a chapter each week. And so I only did chapter 1. The audio book is not that long, but because we're just doing a chapter a week, that is why. And then I have a lot of books that I am currently going through. So Many Waters. So I've been going through the Wrinkle in Time series, and this is, I think it's the 4th book. Yeah, it's the 4th book. I started it, I paused it. So I'm such a mood reader. I have to be in a mood to read some of these. So I started it, but I never finished it. So that is another one. So those are all the audiobooks. I did DNF The Unashamed by Lecrae. Today I DNF'd it. And I might pick it back up. But so I love Lecrae. I knew Lecrae before he was famous. Like, he came to my church and did literally before his CDs were even in, like, on the shelves anywhere. I knew who Lecrae was. And his friend Tadashi actually went to my school, and he used to be a member at the church that I was at. So I actually feel a little bit, some sympathy or close ties with Lecrae, even though he doesn't really know me. I just feel because of that connection. He was in Denton. He was at UNT. He went to the same church that I went to. He went to, Tadashi went to one of the churches I went to, and Lecrae went to one of the churches that I went to. So I just feel connected. We have the same theology with a lot of things. But I was listening to his book, and I just had to stop. It probably gets better, but it was just very negative. I know that is his story, and that's what he went through. But I didn't want to hear some of the trauma that he went through. I feel that sometimes as Christians, you can give your testimony without giving a lot of details. And so I had already read his other book that he published after, I Am Restored, I believe it's called. And this book, Unashamed, I thought was going to talk about us as Christians living an unashamed life. But it's really an autobiography. It may change. I just got to chapter 3. But a lot of the stuff in there, some of it is similar content that was in his I Am Restored book. But he goes into more detail, and he probably decided not to go in detail in his I Am Restored book because he put it in this Unashamed book. I don't know if he ends up later talking about living an unashamed life. I don't know, but I'm not, and this might sound bad, but I'm not interested in listening to an autobiography. I don't want to hear about your past sinful life. And I know for some people, that's how they deal with things. That's how they grow and they overcome, I guess, so to speak. But for me, it's triggering. He talked about like sexual abuse and things like that. For me, that's very triggering. I think that, so I will say that, for some people, there is some, it's a rated R book in my opinion. So if you, just because he's a Christian, that doesn't mean that everything in there is for everyone that's a Christian. Not everyone should read it. And so, I'll listen to his interviews. His interviews are definitely PG-13, but his book, I would say, is not. So I will say that if any of you guys were interested in reading his book, you know, especially if you've dealt with sexual assault in the past, it can be very triggering. Now he does bring up some good points in terms of like if you've dealt with it, to speak with other people and try to overcome that. But I think everyone's different in terms of how that looks. Like, how do you overcome that? I don't personally think, and this is my opinion, I'm not a counselor, but I don't think for everyone, I don't think it's beneficial for everyone to just tell every experience they went through. I don't think that's healing for everyone. I think that can actually cause more damage for some people. God can heal you without you having to say all the details. Like, you can just say, oh, I was assaulted, I was abused. I don't think you need to go through all the details. And he doesn't go through all the details, but it's kind of implied. Like, you can kind of tell what happened, which leads your imagination to, you know, to a certain point, which I don't, y'all know me, if you've seen my other reviews, you know, I don't like certain things going through my mind. And so, I will say that, so I DNF'd it. I might pick it up later. I had another book that I DNF'd from another author that I really love in the Christian rap, sphere. So, I mean, some people need to hear it. Some people need that message, but I don't think that's for everyone. And I think it could be triggering and actually can cause more trauma and like, you might be over something, like literally over something, but then you expose yourself to listening and that brings the memories back up and it can re-traumatize you, in my opinion. Again, I'm not a counselor, you know, counselors probably know better than me, but I don't think, especially if it's not something that's very common that happens, I don't think bringing it back up can be beneficial at every single time for everybody. Like, it's just resurfacing things that's there, that, like, why, I don't know. So that's one that I DNF'd. Let me move on to the paper books. Anyone knows me, I like a variety of books. So the first book, When Duct Tape Just Isn't Enough. I got this book from my mom actually a few years ago, and it's just a quick, fun little read. I just, you know, I have a bunch of books on my bookshelf that I haven't read, and I was like, let me just start reading this and see if there's any good tidbits that I can use, you know, around the house to help. And already there's a lot of great information in here. Granted, I'm in the beginning. I just started reading this, but it has information on like tools, like different ways you can use your tools that are not normally like a normal way that you use it. Tips on cleaning, tips on like just your house and like different things to, you know, electrical, plumbing, like all those types of things, furniture. And then it has stuff on gardening, which I like gardening. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I would like to know more. So, I have this. So I started reading that. Y'all know, those of you who've been following my channel know I love Ramona. And so I am rereading Ramona and Her Father. I have an older version of this book, and I read it as a child, and I am currently reading it again. And I'm reading it in this book, this version, as opposed to the old book, because I just love how the pictures are here. They're just so cute. The other pictures in the old book was like kind of like, it just wasn't as detailed. Like the pictures weren't as detailed. And so I love this book. I love all Ramona books. It's so nostalgic reading it. I feel like I'm Ramona. And I will say this, one thing that I realized in this book is Ramona has glasses. It's not on any of these pictures in here. And in the other books, you don't see it. But I read it in this book. She wears glasses, which is another reason why I love Ramona, because when I was a child, I wore glasses. And so, yeah. So I'm reading that. Again, I'm a ballerina. Well, some people will say I'm just a ballet dancer, but I like to call myself a ballerina. I am going through Ballet Beyond Basics. I have several ballet books, and these all just give you greater insight on your technique. In class, there's only so much that you can cover. There's different teachers that will focus on different things in terms of technique. But if you want to get further, either you take from different teachers that will like focus on different parts of technique, or you can also get information from, other resources. And so I am in this book, I'm going to go through this slowly because the techniques that are in here, it takes time for it to go from your mind to your body. And so I want to really focus on like getting it in my body so that way I can improve my technique. So I probably will be reading this for a long time, which I'm okay with. All right, I am also reading Holy Estrogen. I am past halfway mark of this book. It's good. It's not what I thought it was, but things might change. There's some good pointers in here. I will let you know once I do my review on this book what I think overall. But I haven't DNFed it. I'm still going, so there are good nuggets, but it's not what I thought it was. Like reading the title, I had this view of what it was going to be about, and it's not. Okay, I am going through the Action Bible. I had previously finished going through the Bible in a year. I finished it last month, and I'm taking a break from reading like just the Bible. And so I decided to pick up the Action Bible. And I will tell you, this is entertaining and it's actually helpful, because once you get to, like, for instance, when you get to the kings and all the drama there, it can get, like in the Bible, it can get kind of like confusing because a lot of their names sound the same, and the drama, like following all the different characters, it can get very confusing. And so I actually enjoy this book. I am able to follow a lot better. And it has like the prophets in here, so they put the prophets with like where they go on the timeline. So I really have been enjoying it. The only downside that I will say about this book is it's not 100% accurate. I mean, it is for children, so they have to make some changes so that it is rated G for kids, or rated PG. I guess I would say this is PG because it does have violence, because the Bible has violence in here, of course. So, but it is great. It's just some things I would say this is not what it says in the Bible. Like they might have made some changes to the story, just for the sake of the cartoon, so to speak. So that's my only downside. But if you read the Bible, you'll get that, right? But like I said, it's been helpful for me to understand. I've been reading the Bible for years, but still when you read the Bible, it can be confusing. So I'm all for any book that will help you understand a little bit better. And so nothing helps you understand better than children's books. So I definitely recommend. And I'm still marathoning through The Sons of Encouragement. I've been saying for a few months that I was going to get through the story on Amos. I just was not feeling it. I had my moments. I guess I'm a mood reader, like I said before, and I just didn't feel like it. But what has helped me was that app that I talked to you guys about earlier. Script has Sons of Encouragement, an audiobook version. And so I started listening to it. I re-listened to chapter 1. I am now on chapter 2, re-listening to it. And it makes a difference. Listening to it makes a difference. So I hope to like listen to it and read it at the same time. So I will probably get through Amos now that I'm actually like going through with the audiobook. So that's what I'm reading. I am in no rush to get done by the end of this month of November. Granted, I might not even get done by December. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But my sole purpose in life is not to accumulate a number of pages or accumulate a number of books to get done. And I know some booktubers, that's their purpose in life. That is not mine. I read for fun. I do this for fun on YouTube as well. So I hope that this was a motivation for some of you guys who feel stressed out about getting through these books and thinking that, oh, I have to get through these. I have all these shelves of books. I'm not going to get through all of them, and I'm okay with it. And I actually started pulling some books. And I'm like, I'm not going to read this. I don't need this. I started pulling them off to the side because, quite frankly, I'm not going to read them. So why? Or I read them and I know I'm not going to reread them. Right? So it's perfectly fine. So, all right. Well, I wanted to get on here, give you guys an update, and also to encourage those of you who feel like you have to read each month. You don't have to. You can find other hobbies to do as well. So, all right. Well, I actually got to get back to doing some schoolwork. I just want to get on here real quick and talk to you guys. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next time. Bye.